I'm Jerry Carollo with Hampton Daze magazine, covering the 21st anniversary of the Hamptons International Film Festival here in East Hampton. I'm talking with director Anthony Fabian. He has a film in the festival. It's called Louder Than Words. And first off, let's get right to it. You're managing some pretty heavy hitters here. Timothy Hutton plays New York businessman Bruce Comiskey. David Ducovny, famed for The X-Files and a whole bunch of other stuff. He's playing John Ferrari. Hope Davis, recently with a good stint on HBO's The Newsroom. She's playing Brenda Davis. And Ferrari, I'm sorry. And Olivia Steele Falconer is playing the little girl. And you had a buddy who was a buddy of one of their agents.
I think was originally the writer of the script. I share an agent with him. And so they put me forward for this movie when they were looking for a director. And the territory of the film is quite similar to my first one in the sense that it's also a true life story and it's a family drama. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in the way of these things, if you can do one family drama, they assume you can do another.
Well, based on true events, the Ferrari family found themselves in a sudden deep grief over the death of their daughter. And instead of becoming grieving parents, they went on to actually create monumental changes in children's hospitalization. Tell us about that.
Well, it's true. It's a story that talks about how to turn a tragedy into a force for good. And in a way, I think it's also about a family trying to find a way to heal. And they found a way to heal by healing other people.
At one time, the cast of the film met with the real-life Ferrari family to discuss options.
I think there's always an anxiety about portraying real people and about finding your own way of doing that. But I think on both sides, both from the Ferrari's point of view and from the actor's point of view, there was a mutual liking, which really helped in terms of what they were doing. And I think that the Ferraris gave them enough space to allow them to create their own version of the characters.
Just last night at the UA Theater in East Hampton, you had one of the showings. David was there, Timmy was there. How did the audience react? How was the Q&A after?
Well, I was very pleased because almost the entire audience stayed for the Q&A, which is always a good sign. My sense was that the audience was very moved by the film. They laughed at all the right places. They stayed with the film. I think there was a great deal of goodwill towards the film at the screening. And a sense that the film played very, very well.
Gentlemen, you guys are obviously heavy hitters in Hollywood. What does that say that guys of your caliber took on this project and agreed to be in it?
I don't know what it says. I mean, I think this would be a very attractive script to a lot of actors. I think that we're fortunate that we were asked to participate in it. It's a very, very moving, compelling, inspiring film story. So, I mean, to be a part of it was something that you want to apply yourself in the best way possible.
I think everybody's always looking for a film that means something or a film that is emotionally true, and it's the movies that come out of big time Hollywood are not that. So I think most actors are looking for a script like this if they can find it.
I'm talking with director filmmaker Michael Walker. Michael Walker's a local guy by way of Bellport, New York. He has a fantastic film in the film festival called The Maid's Room. Well, I just want to start off by saying an incredible man who really, really knows his stuff, a man named Dr. Michael Clarkin from Art TV. He has actually compared your film to, or said that it has a Hitchcockian feel. So right off the bat, you're starting at the top of the food chain. Go ahead and tell us about the premise of the movie.
All right, The Maid's Room is about a maid who gets a job in the Hamptons, and the family that she's working for are involved in a hit-and-run accident that they try to cover up. And the maid is the only one who knows the truth. So they try to pressure her into not calling the police.
Okay, Mike, I'm out here a long time. About 10 years ago, when I did private security, but for a long time to pay the bills, I drove a tow truck out here. A very common thing was very powerful people's kids I'm not even kidding, driving their car into the pond. Because when you come down 27, you can actually just drive right into it. Families are willing to go all in when it comes to their kids, even though it's a fictional tale, like that could seriously be headline news. Tell us about some of the, without giving anything away, the dirty, nasty tricks that the family was using to, cover this thing up.
Well, first of all, I think it's not just out here that people would be willing to protect their son. I think anyone could identify with it. Now, how far the Crawfords go, I think, is the line that you would have to ask yourself. And I don't think they make those decisions exactly. They don't make them all in one choice. Some of these choices are made for them because of little choices that they make before, which I think is how life sort of works out. So, but in the end, they try to buy her off, and they try to, and she's an immigrant, so they try to use that against her. They try to use the fact that if she did call the police, that she has nobody representing her, and that she'd probably be shipped back to Colombia. So I think things like that she's very powerless in this situation.
A majority of the film, was it just yes or no? Was any of it filmed in the Hamptons?
Yes.
Okay, the bulk of it was filmed in your town of Bellport?
Yes, Bellport and Brookhaven.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to show you. Remember, obviously, the movie Rocky, where they're at the press conference, and they said, Rocky, how you feel about having the fight with the champion? He goes, well, I'm very excited to be fighting at the Spectrum. And they said, why? He goes, well, it's only about 10 minutes from my house. So that must have been awfully convenient to shoot there. And Bellport, I happen to know, literally the phrase can be used, you're on the right side of the tracks. There's incredible real estate, fantastic market, and then you have your neighborhood equivalent to Newark. Tell us about the advantage of having really every location you could dream of in your own backyard.
Well, it was great. First, my kids came to the set, and they hung out. When my older daughter runs, she ran over to the set, which is about a mile from our house. And it was a local family has the house out there, and it's a beautiful house, which I'd been to the house before with the previous owners, had us over for a birthday. And it's very nice. One of the nicer houses in Bellport, but it's very nice. And then Brookhaven, where the swampy stuff was shot, is a beautiful location. And it's also has very Hamptons-y feel to it. I mean, both of them. Even we shot it in Bellport and Brookhaven. It's supposed to be the Hamptons, and I think it passes off pretty nicely as the Hamptons. And it's true. Bellport is definitely a class-divided town, and right on the tracks. There's North Bellport, and North Bellport's typically an African-American community, and it used to be a lot rougher, I guess, in the 70s and 80s, but I think it's improved a little bit. I don't know. It's strange that the relationship between African Americans on Long Island and the immigrant community on Long Island should be a whole other film, I think.
Well, like I said, I was just pointing out that you have it all in Bellport there, that all the terrains match. You have beach, you have water, you have that classic sawgrass, you have dirt and trees. Let's talk about the main role in the film. She's done a hell of a lot of TV and some other films. Start from the top on that.
Paula Garces, who's the main actress, who plays Drina, the maid. She was on The Shield for a while. She was in the Harold and Kumar movie. She was Harold's love interest. And she's great in Harold and Kumar 3D. The Christmas one is I think it's one of the funniest films in the last 10 years, and she's great in it. And what's his name plays the father, the machete. What's his?
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo plays her father, and he's really funny in it too. It's but she's a great actress, and she's really amazing in this film, in The Maid's Room.
I don't want to stray you off too far. Would that have been? You could do a part 2 of this thing where Danny Trejo is their landscaper, and they get revenge on the Crawfords. Okay. First off, you go back with the film festival. Tell us about your early stuff that was in. Was it a short film?
Yeah, I had a short film in the festival the second year or the third year, or very early on in the Hamptons Film Festival. I was living in Seattle at the time. I did a short film. And, in the old days, I sent it in. It was a print. We watched it on film. And it was programmed with some other short films, and it seemed to do all right. It was a fairly full house. It was fun. And
after this, you're heading down south to, it's the city of Austin. Is it actually the Austin Film Festival?
Yeah, it's the Austin Film Festival. They seem to have a film festival every couple of weeks down there, but this is one of them. This is more of a screenwriters film festival, I guess, and there's a lot of special guests coming down, so I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Let's round it out with some of the other members of the cast. There's some great people working this thing. Let's start with the Crawfords.
Yeah, Mr. Crawford is played by Bill Camp, who is a great stage actor, and he's been in a lot of films. He's doing the new Cameron Crowe movie right now. He was in Lincoln. You've seen him around, definitely, and you might not recognize him in this because of the makeup, but he's a great actor and was really great to work with. And Mrs. Crawford's played by Annabella Sciorra, who hasn't been in much lately, but she's just a great actress, and she's famous from Hands That Rocks the Cradle, especially, which was her first film, but she was around. She was in these great Abel Ferrara films in the 90s. I don't know if you know him, but...
Well, I don't know him, but Annabella Sciorra, I mean, I don't know what the count is, but she has at least 30 films under her belt, minimum.
Sure, good actors, they work a lot, and I think most actors, even if they're not that great, if they get jobs, they work a lot, and it's amazing to see. Jeff Daniels was in my first film, and that was more than 10 years ago, and his resume then was endless.
I'm going to look it up anyway. What's the name of that?
That was called Chasing Sleep.
Okay. Well, interesting stuff. You ran the gamut, directing and filming and stuff. You attended NYU.
Yeah, I went to film school at NYU a while ago.
Okay. All right, we got that covered. Boy, you got to hear first. Michael Walker, I'm Jerry Carollo for Hampton Daze magazine. See you back here at the festival.